Why, hello there, everybody. You are back watching more TTBurger game reviews, and I am your host, Tony. And Halloween is still upon us. We are in the month of October now, and Halloween is just less than a month away. But that doesn't mean anything, because we still have some more Halloween themed, horror themed games here to look at on my channel. Like I mentioned, for the next few weeks or so, leading up to the end of the month, we'll be doing Halloween videos, definitely. This is episode 150, which I'm looking at the Clock Tower franchise review, and this is part 2 of 4. And we have a lot to talk about here for this part. Before we get started here, those of you who missed what happened in the first part probably want to know what happened. I can't show you the whole video, but I can show you this. A TTBurger recap to show you all what you missed as I took a look at the original Clock Tower, the first Clock Tower, they released in 1997, known as Clock Tower 2 in Japan, or Clock Tower 1997, because the first game they had was Clock Tower, also known as Clock Tower: The First Fear, which never saw a release outside of Japan, so that's why it's called Clock Tower here in the States. And I gave it an 8 out of 10 because it was a great game, a fun game, especially when you're trying to avoid being chased by a guy with a giant pair of scissors called the Evil Scissor Man throughout Norway and London, throughout Europe. And it was a great game overall, except for that I had some problems like with the sound, like how the voice acting was not very good, and like with the gameplay, the controls were a little stiff, and like some things with like when you died and continued and stuff, and like if you miss an item or so, like a key item, you don't get the best ending. You gotta restart over from the beginning if you want to try and get that best ending. But still, like, it's a great game overall, and it's a great way to introduce people who never played Clock Tower before, because they couldn't play it after they weren't in Japan. So this is a great way to start off, definitely here in the West and such, definitely. Now we're going to zoom ahead to the year 1999, actually Halloween 1999, where we got the second Clock Tower game out here in the States, which was actually the third one. And we got it right here. This is Clock Tower 2, The Struggle Within, exclusive to the PlayStation. Once again, this was developed by Human Entertainment and Tech this time. So yeah, let's get started there. Now, Clock Tower 2, The Struggle Within, also known as Clock Tower Ghost Head in Japan, I should say. This game is fucking terrible. This game is so bad that I cannot believe that a game like this was actually released. First off, like when you see the game and you see the art style and everything like that and stuff and such, it's got some good looking graphics stuff, and it gives you the false impression that it's a good game and better and improves on the problems that Clock Tower 1997 had, but unfortunately that's not the case here, because this game is considered a spin-off. It has nothing to do with the first two games and stuff like that, and I wouldn't mind it if it didn't have anything to do with the first games if it was done right. Here, it's just a joke, and it's just pathetic. It takes the problems from the first game, keeps it in there, and adds a bunch more new ones, and that is that. This game is going to be getting a low score, and it's actually considered the worst game in the Clock Tower franchise, definitely. So I'm going to get started here.
Do you really think
now
it's
for the
okay
game's story?
having her stay
Wait,
with us?
what story? Oh, you mean the story that jumps around a lot, doesn't give you any indication of what's going on, and just throw stuff in there and stuff to make it seem like we're supposed to know what's going on? Yep, that's all you get for the story here. And I'll tell you right now, the story's just terrible. One of the worst stories I've ever seen. It's like no care and effort went into it at all, and it just jumps around all over the place, and it's hard to follow. So like the story is just pretty much a waste here. But those of you who want to know what the story's about, here, allow me to explain. You play a 17-year-old Alyssa Hale who's arriving in the California town called Salinas to stay with her Uncle Philip and Aunt Catherine. And before she arrives, things start going on throughout the house. When Alyssa arrives, there's yellow blood everywhere, and her cousin Ashley and her cousin Michael are nowhere to be found, and there's like screaming going on, and there's like this evil
Uncle
doll, and
Philip?
this
It's Alyssa.
night statue just going AWOL and stuff, and doors are locked and everything, and it's like you're trying to find out what's going on, and it turns out there's this Maxwell curse going on that's like creating zombies. Yeah, And you want to know anything else about the Maxwell Curse? Well, too bad, because like you're not really gonna get much what's going on, and that's basically what the story is. Our first problem with the story is the is the total Americanization with the story, and this was what this game was infamously bad for. One of the main things, it's completely Americanized and stuff. Like they say that this game takes place in California, when in reality the Japanese version takes place in Osaka, Japan, and it shows too. Because like, since when do houses in California look like this? Since when did California have signs that had stuff in Japanese? And the way they dress too. They don't dress like anything like Californians or anything like that. And it just shows too. But they just they try to like shove in your face and say that it takes place in California. And they had to change the characters' names around and stuff and everything too. And it would have it wouldn't have been a big issue here and stuff that if they kept it taking place in Osaka and kept the characters' names fine, just change the voice acting and stuff for the English, and even though I wouldn't have liked that much, it would have been fine. But they had to totally Americanize it and stuff, and that's basically what it is there, and yet it just totally out of place there and stuff. It just doesn't work. In fact, I couldn't even get far into this game, and I'll explain why later on why I couldn't get far in this here. So I'm just saying, but let's get there. Story's pretty almost nonsense, and it sucks. And the story and the Americanization of it just ruins it even more. For the graphics, the game's graphics, I gotta say, the game's graphics look pretty good. I mean, like, they actually look better than Clock Tower 1997's graphics. I mean, like, the character models look better. I mean, the faces don't look the great, but the way they move and animate and stuff, they look better. And the pre-rendered backgrounds look nice as well. And you know, like, the character models look great, and the graphics look great too, and like the CG cutscenes look nice as well. And it's one of the best looking PS1 games released in 1999. But graphics don't save the game. I'm sorry. Graphics are good, but it doesn't save the game at all. For sound is bleh. Music sounds. Remember the good music that was in Clock Tower 1997? Well, here, say hello to generic horror music that just sounds so generic that it might as well be in any other generic horror themed game. And even then, it wouldn't be, no matter what game, it still wouldn't be that great because the music is just not very good. But the worst part about the sound is the god-awful voice acting. I know I said the voice acting was bad in Clock Tower, but the voice acting in this game is just much worse. It just sounds so bad. Like the characters have no emotions in them whatsoever. I mean, like, the characters they have no emotion whatsoever. They're like emotionless, and it's like the main character, Alyssa, just sounds like she tries way too hard to sound like the character in the game, and it sounds like it's pain in the process. And I should mention that Alyssa has this split personality with this male split personality named Bates, which I'll talk about that later on. And yet sound is just awful and stuff, definitely. But now, let's get into the worst contender here, the gameplay. If you thought everything I said before was bad, you haven't seen anything yet, because here is some of the worst gameplay you'll ever find in a point-and-click game or a sequel or anything like that. In fact, calling it a sequel is just put it mildly, because this game was mainly a spin-off and has nothing to do with the original game whatsoever. There's no Scissor Man because Jennifer killed the remaining Scissor Man, which I understand that, but still, there's no clock tower and stuff. From what I got so far, there's no clock tower. It's pretty much just like there's no like interesting development or anything like that. It's just you're Alyssa, you have a split personality named Bates, who's a male voice and stuff, who's pretty much a cold-hearted asshole and stuff, and Alyssa's a nice scared 17-year-old girl and stuff like that, and yeah. But the gameplay is pretty much similar to the first game. You point and click, and you try to find items and stuff like that. And finding items, I don't mind doing this stuff. but the game doesn't give you any indication or any hints of what to do unless you have like a walkthrough or something like that. If you don't have a guidebook or a walkthrough to look at, if you're that and stuff, like back then, if you didn't have a guidebook for this, you would be fucked because you'd be running all around trying to find where to go, and it could cost you to get the best ending. There are 13 endings this time, and if you forget the slightest item or something like that, you won't get the best ending. Like seriously, this game treats you like garbage and stuff like that. It treats you like garbage. It's like, and it punishes you for the slightest thing whatsoever, and I can't stand that at all. I hate it, and it just ruins everything, because like you had a great premise and stuff, and like in Clock Tower 1997, and here they throw you in this pile of junk, and yet it just doesn't make any sense at all and stuff, because like the game is just so unforgiving when it comes to this stuff. In fact, even when you get all the endings, you're still not gonna know what the fuck is going on, because it just flat out blah, just sucks. And yet the game was so bad, I couldn't even get past the first chapter. And I know what you're thinking, Tony, why did you review this game without getting any farther? Believe me, I tried my hardest, but like, you do the slightly wrong thing. Like if you get to put an item somewhere, or if you do it too early, too late, you're fucked, and you get one of the worst endings. And yet this game is so bad, I can't even consider it a Clock Tower game. In fact, I feel like this game was mainly called Ghost Head, but they decided to put the Clock Tower name on it just to make money and stuff. And it's sad because the first two Clock Towers were awesome, and this game is not. I mean, I just never played. I mean, I'll admit the one good thing that's improved is that the controls are more responsive, and they're not as stiff and stuff, and it's easier to navigate. So right there, the controls have improved. It's easier to run too. So they did a great job there. But you'll get lost so much you'll forget about the goods and stuff. I mean, it's like, I don't know. I mean, I really wanted to like this game. I really thought that like people, when I first got this game a while back, I really thought that people would be just being too hard on it and stuff, or like when I got it a long time ago, and I thought that they were just being too hard on it, but they were right and stuff, because like the game just takes all the problems that the Clock Tower 1997 had, and makes them even worse, and it makes the game pretty much unplayable and unenjoyable, and yet I don't know. I mean, like, and also mention, like, as you get further on, I heard it just gets worse, because like you switch from Alyssa and Bates over and over, and you meet characters that are just there for the game and stuff and all that shit, and it's just, you're really gonna hate this game. I'm sure the people who like Clock Tower are really not gonna like this game at all, especially because it has nothing to do with the other games. It'll be a freaking spin-off too, so. Yeah, I know that they call this Clock Tower 2 because we didn't have, because the first Clock Tower we got was the original Clock Tower 2 on the PlayStation and stuff that, so yeah. But aside from that though, I really don't have much else to say. I mean, don't play this game. It's terrible. I mean, if you want to get stuck playing the first chapter over and over again because it doesn't give you any indication what to do, and just like, items are so hard to find, and if you miss a certain item, and then you're fucked and get the worst ending ever and stuff, or some of the worst endings ever, because, and that like, the game is just you just give up on the game, and that's what it is. And I tell you right now, like, the game is just garbage overall, and you know what? Don't even play it. Just don't play it at all. So, my final rating goes. Don't buy the game. Don't buy Clock Tower 2 to struggle within. Just play Clock Tower 1997 and leave it at that if you want a good Clock Tower game on the PlayStation, definitely. Due to the complaints I have with this game, the score I'll be giving it is a freaking 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10 because this game deserves it, because it's a load of shit. It's a load of it just fucking sucks. And that's what it is. Ugh, shit. Just even think what's going to leave a bad taste in my mouth. Ugh. It's hard to believe that a game this shitty is quote-unquote a sequel to one of the best horror games on the PlayStation. But whatever, you know, they can't be aware of all of them. But you thought the Clock Tower franchise was dead? Well, that's not the case here at all. Because episode 150 part 3 of 4, we're going to look at the first Clock Tower game on the PlayStation 2, Clock Tower 3. Now, how does this game fare from Clock Tower 2 to the Struggle Within and the original Clock Tower on 1997 that we have here? Well, you'll find out because you'll find out is what I'm trying to say there, because does this game fix the problems and improve on what Clock Tower 2 Struggle Within was? We'll find out. So that's all I gotta say. If you like what you see here, subscribe, like the video, comment down below. And join my Discord group, TTBurger Games. Now you can always look for more people to join, and the links in the description is a permanent link, so it won't go away after one day. But all I gotta say is Tony, peace and out, have a good day, and avoid Clock Tower 2 The Struggle Within, and I'll see you all in episode 150, part 3 of 4.